watching the clock. You see, the hotel had been wallowing in red ink for quite some time now, and it was likely to continue hemorrhaging money until it stopped hemorrhaging potential hotel guests. And I only wish that was a metaphor. The Lakeview Hotel had the highest mortality rate of any luxury accommodations west of Baghdad, or east of Baghdad, or in Baghdad. In fact, as hotel detective, I had personally investigated 6 unsolved murders in the last 5 weeks and committed 4. The management wasn't entirely happy with my job performance. That's why they told me that anyone who clocked even 1 minute of unauthorized overtime would be out of a job. And that's why at 10 minutes to midnight, I had my eyes glued to the clock. Because when that strikes 12, my Friday night nightmares become somebody else's Saturday morning problem. So if my luck holds true, Dick Piston, I need you! Lady Luck, you can set your watch fire. I need your help! Are you the hotel detective? For 9 more minutes I am, but there's not going to be a 10th. So I'm afraid if it's anything more time-consuming than a stuck pickle jar, I'm going to have to refer you to the day shift. But you have to help me! I'm the victim of a crime! You can't just turn your back on me! Not in that outfit? No. Then you'll help me? For 8 more minutes I will, but that's all the time we've got. Will that be enough? Depends on the crime. What's yours? I think they call it murder. Uh-huh. And you say you're the victim? Yes, it happened just now, up in my hotel room. You know what murder is, right? It's the one where somebody kills someone, right? That's the one. Yay! Oh boy. All right, I'm going to take your case. But I'm also going to set an egg timer. When this goes off, no matter what, case dismissed. Is that understood? Mr. Piston, I can't tell you how grateful I am for this. Coming here in a towel is thanks enough. You're welcome. Now, if you'll take a seat, I have to make a phone call. But aren't you going to rush up to my room and examine the scene of the crime? Ordinarily, I would. But we don't have that kind of time. Hello, front desk? It's me, Dick Piston, hotel detective. Put me through to the kitchen. What are you doing? Ordering room service. Will that speed up the investigation? Not at all. Then why are you doing it? Because no man in his right mind would ever be alone in a room with a woman in a towel without at least a bottle of champagne and a half order of oysters on the way. I'll have the honeymoon special. Send it to my office pronto. Thank you, Mr. Piston. How can I ever repay you? You can never repay me. And how did you know this was our honeymoon? Just tell me about your murder and get it over with. Well, I was up in my room taking a shower before dinner. So you haven't eaten? No, not yet. And the murder took place in the bathroom? No, it was in the bedroom. After your shower? No, during. So you were in the shower, you were shot in the shower by someone in the bedroom. What makes you think I was shot? Because if it was a stabbing, you would have been in the same room with the killer.
Visiting hours for adult services are over in 10 minutes. Thank you for your cooperation.
You think he was in the shower with me? No, I think you were shot. But I wasn't shot. Look! Or stabbed, for that matter. What makes you think you were murdered? Oh, I wasn't murdered. But you said you were. I said I was the victim of a crime. and the crime was murder. Oh, well done, Mr. Piston. If the crime is murder and you're the victim, why are you here? Well, I had to report it, didn't I? He was my husband after all. The killer? No, the killeree. The murder victim is your husband? Yes. He was shot in my room, in the head, on the bed. And this was supposed to be our honeymoon. I see. And is that how you were dressed when you discovered the body? Yes. I had just stepped into the shower when I heard what sounded like gunshots. Naturally, I finished my shower, put on some makeup, and raced into the bedroom right away to see what was the matter. That's when I found him, dead on the bed with a slug in his head. Were there any signs of forced entry? No, everything seemed perfectly normal, except for that horrible dead guy lying there. You mean your husband? Yes, that was his name, Guy. And he was horrible? Yes, brains everywhere. Well, Mrs. Guy, normally this is the point in the investigation when I would rush to your hotel room to examine the body, but we're short on time. So let's just cut to the chase. A bellhop comes in with champagne and oysters. Room service! Bang! There's your killer. Oh! Oh my! But how could you possibly know that? Allow me to explain. If there were no signs of forced entry, then your husband must have let the killer into the room himself, which means the murderer must have been someone your husband knew personally or expected shortly. A bellhop, for example. Why would he be expecting a bellhop? Since no man in his right mind would ever be alone in a room with a woman in a towel without at least a bottle of champagne and a half order of oysters on the way, and your husband knew that you were about to enter the room, we know that your husband must have ordered something from room service. It makes perfect sense. And as you've just witnessed, the service in this hotel is incredibly prompt. Yes, I'm impressed. We ought to make sure and leave him a big tip. So your husband's order must have arrived at the room while you were still in the shower, yet you haven't eaten. Because there wasn't any food. Exactly. And if there were no edibles in evidence, it can only mean that whoever brought the food removed it immediately after the murder to conceal the fact that the killer came from the kitchen. I don't know why I didn't see it before. Which means your husband had to have been murdered by the night shift bellhop who gained access to your room under the pretense of delivering a romantic appetizer, which you never got the chance to enjoy because after murdering your husband in cold blood, he removed the telltale oysters and champagne from the scene, leaving in their place the even more telltale absence of oysters and champagne, which confirms his guilt. But why would this bellhop want to kill my husband? Because unbeknownst to your late husband, this bellhop was having an extramarital affair with his wife. You're married? No, you. He was having an affair with you. What? How could you possibly know that? Because you still haven't asked me the one question that any widow in her right mind would want to know the answer to in this situation. Why would this bellhop want to kill your husband? But I did ask. You did? When? Just now. Just a second ago. I said it right away. It was practically the first thing that popped in my mind. Oh, right. Well, never mind. You really haven't been paying attention to anything I've said, have you, Mr. Piston? For Pete's sake, you're wearing a towel. That's no reason to accuse me of being an adulteress and worse yet, an accomplice to murder. You're right. I'm sorry. I apologize. Accepted. Shame about the bellboy, though. Yeah. Listen, my boss will have my head if she finds out I shot another innocent bystander. Do you think we could just agree that this was self-inflicted? Yeah, Yes, it is. But what widow in her right mind would agree to cover up the murder of a man who had nothing to do with her husband's murder, unless he, in fact, had everything to do with the murder, and she was in on it? But that could only mean two things. No, one. It could only mean one thing. I think you're forgetting one possibility, Mr. Piston. What's that? That the widow is not, in fact, in her right mind. Woo! Woo-hoo! Hee-hee! Woo-hoo! Well, this is a little embarrassing for both of us. But it looks like I was wrong again. And my shift is almost over. So I guess you're free to go. Oh, thank you, Mr. Piston. You don't know what a relief this is. You may not have solved my husband's murder, but knowing I'm innocent of all charges is a huge load off my mind. What little there is of it left, I mean. Oh, how could I possibly thank you? Well, we've got champagne and oysters, and I'm off in 2 minutes. Oh, Mr. Piston. She kisses him. A shot rings out. She falls dead. Well, I didn't see that coming. Bellhop rises shakily on his feet, a smoking gun in his hand. Neither did I. You're alive? But that's impossible. Actually, no. You're a terrible shot, Piston. Yeah, sorry about that. Don't be. You were right about us, Piston. Until recently, this lady and I were having a torrid affair behind her husband's back and over his dead body. Ew. At least I thought we were. I thought we were in love. But now I see she was just using me to get what she wanted. A dead husband and an airtight alibi. But what makes you think she was using you? What woman in her right mind would leave her husband for another man only to throw herself in the arms of a third man over the lifeless corpse of her dead lover, the second man? Unless, of course, she never really loved him to begin with and was only using him to get rid of her wealthy husband. She used us. We're all victims here. Well, actually, not me. No, I suppose not. But if you got a minute, I think I can correct that oversight. Wow, look at the time. It looks like yours is up, Dick Piston, hotel detective. But why would you want to kill me? I haven't done anything to you, besides shooting you a minute ago. I think you're forgetting the possibility that I, too, might not be in my right mind. No, I took that into account when you murdered 2 people at your place of work. Ding! What was that? Your luck running out. No, it sounded more like an egg timer. Ding! Case dismissed. It was a Saturday morning in the big city, and on a Saturday morning, my work here is done.